Hello, hello, and welcome everybody to the stream. So glad you can make it. Normally, I start out with a song, but I wanted to give us a second just to say this is a special one going out to a very special guy in our community. Everybody who wants to join in with me, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Boomer. Happy birthday to you, you kooky
Oh,
old guy.
you can't. Wait a minute. You can't be that old.
No, I'm
No,
44.
he's not a real boomer.
I turned 44 today. Would you like me to explain where the term aged
Yes.
boomer came from?
Yeah.
There are these things called Wojaks online, and no doubt you've probably seen them. And one of them was the 30-year-old boomer. And one of the things that the 30-year-old boomer said was, Quake is a good game. And I was like, well, Quake was and is still a good game, and I like Quake. And the whole point is that anybody after they reach a certain point, the younger people just calling them boomer, even if they're not really boomers. And I don't know why aged boomer. It's one of these things where it's like an insulting name, so I just picked it. That was
And
the
we
whole origin.
we kind of said that we both know we're not boomers, but if anything, our parents' generation were boomers.
Not
but
mine. Silent
Yeah,
generation
yeah.
for me.
My mom and dad were World War II, so they were greatest generation.
Oh wow. Okay.
I'm gonna be 53 in June.
Cool.
My
you're
whole
not
family.
quite a boomer either, then, are you?
I'm Generation X, the forgotten
Yeah.
generation.
Yeah, I am
And
too. I'm young Gen
If
X.
you are,
Yeah.
if you are born between 65 and they like to say 80, but I like to say 85,
Mhm.
you're Generation X.
Yeah,
Right.
that would be about where I'm at then. Yeah, that's
and
right.
and I get, don't you ever call me a boomer. I don't want to, because
Oh
my
yeah.
oldest brother was born in 1943. So he's silent generation. Everybody between him, I'm youngest of 9 kids. So there are 7 kids between Billy and me who are all boomers, and they're all bat shit crazy. I mean, this is my oldest sister, Mary. I turned 12. Dad bought me a 20 gauge shotgun. She had a shit fit. So Dad thought, with this, the sportsman's guy came out and he goes, "What do you want?" And I showed him a T-shirt that said, "I will give him my gun when they pry my gold dead fingers from around it." So he bought me one, and I wore it every day she was visiting, every fucking day. I pissed her off so bad. She was, oh my God, I haven't talked to her since before my mom died, and because we don't talk. I mean, I can't deal with that crazy stuff. And she's the oldest. She was born in 47 after Billy, and I can't do it. They speak Martian, and I speak human. It's true. My sister Rose is younger, but she's like, I get it. I understand. It's like, you're still part of that. How do you? They're all nuts. They're nuts.
Well, we do the Sunday night Geeky Geezers, and we're hardly geezers. I mean, I literally just turned 50, but to a lot of the people that do follow us, yeah, we're kind of geezers, and we do tend to be a little cranky and ornery. So that was our branding. But
Yeah.
speaking of branding, I noticed. Well, let me ask the birthday boy first.
Sure.
You're
What's up?
celebrating today. What you sipping on?
Oh, I don't have anything with me right now. That's I will get a Snapple kiwi strawberry in
That's
a crappy plastic bottle. Hold on.
Oh, that's fine.
I'm mad about that. You know what? Forget about all the stuff with all the complications of pop culture. The fact that they got rid of the glass bottles.
Right.
That's the number one thing.
I'm with you. Stephanie, how about you? I saw you had a glass of wine there. Looked like a red wine.
I've got a nice vintage Cabernet. It's not a great one. I do have a Clos du Beau from France that I haven't opened yet. Probably won't for a while. We just went nuts today at the state store and bought a bunch of different ones. And there's a unpronounceable Italian wine that I opened last night that wants to be a really good Pinot Noir. It's from Italy,
Mm-hmm.
and it tastes. I would rather drink red wine vinegar. It's horrible.
Oh, yeah.
It is. It
Yeah,
is.
I
I
mean,
mean,
look, just because it comes from Italy doesn't make it a good wine, you know?
well, here's the deal. You really have to be careful about American. If you're buying California wine or American wine in general, you can buy a pretty good, really pretty good, not pretty good, a really good, decent bottle for $20, and you'll be happy.
Yeah.
If you buy one from France or Italy, you better have some sort of ID with it, because it could be good,
Yeah.
or it could be, oh my God, this is horrible. I wouldn't cook with it.
Look, even the bad wines are going to cost more because of the import fees, you know?
Yeah, yeah. The other wine. You're gonna love this story. We bought a $25 bottle of Barolo. I've never had a Barolo in my life. I was dancing around, oh my God, and I was like, this is horrible. I like dry wines, but it was so dry. There was nothing but
It makes your mouth pucker. Yeah.
you know.
I know exactly what you're
And
talking about.
there's, and it's like, now I know why it was $25. The girl at the store today, I was talking to her, and she said, there's a Barolo that we're selling at the state store, not at this one, but we live in Pennsylvania, so all the really good wines are sold at state stores. There was $100 bottle of Barolo, $100 at the other one. And she said, I know for a fact that's really good. And I'm looking at her going, I ain't spent $100 on that.
Yeah.
I ain't, if it's going to be $100,
Everybody that I've
champagne.
heard, everybody that I know that talks, that's like an expert on wine, that's really not, with their heads up their own butts,
Yeah.
will
Yeah.
always tell you whatever people are saying, whatever's expensive, all that stuff, forget all that.
Yeah.
Buy
forget
what
it.
you like.
Yeah. Buy what you like.
You know?
We left the state of Virginia in 2018 and moved up here to Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
And they've got good wine here. But I'm going to tell you something. Virginia, it's not California wine. They grow different grapes. They have to, because the climate is so humid. But the Trump Vineyard is amazing. The Trump Vineyard. And I'm not saying it because I'm a fan of Donald Trump.
Right.
I'm saying because it's good.
Sure.
It's good. And I'm not, that's just my objective view. And I remember going to a wine tasting, looking at the guy, because, it was like the manager of the vineyard. And I'm going, really? All right, Don Jr.'s wine. So I tried the Chardonnay, and I'm like, wow, this isn't bad. A very mellow, Chardonnay should be very layered, very mellow, a little, and dry, but not to the point where you're like,
Yeah.
it was good. I'm not kidding.
So I'm drinking. Every Star Wars stream we've had the past couple times, I've had the drink that I posted the recipe for, the Death Star. I'm calling this the Death Star 2 because it's a double. The glass I am drinking it out of is a huge. It's a goblet. It is the size of the. It's actually a little bit larger than the Holy Grail from the Last Crusade. It's glass and it's etched with the Klingon symbol. But I really love the taste of this drink. I told you guys about it over the past couple of weeks. It's got Jägermeister in it, vodka, triple sec, some lime juice, and cola. And it's just kind of yummy. And for as much as alcohol,
hangover I ever had was from Jägermeister. One of the worst.
Well, you got to be careful with those Jaeger shots. They go down smooth, and they're a little bit yummy. But,
I was in college.
Yeah.
I was in college.
They're always college stories, aren't they?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. And we were wild back in the early 90s.
I want to ask real quick, Aged Boomer, how long do we have you? Because I know you're still celebrating your birthday.
Like
You've got
another
family.
like another 10 minutes. Is that all right?
Okay.
But like I said, if you and Stephanie want to get into stuff, that's fine too. I can
No,
hang
no,
out,
no, no. That's fine.
but- Can
We're
I?
just. I do want to say hi to the people in the chat here. I did see Samuel Proctor. Boy, he was not only first; he was first by 24 hours. I got a screen capture of him making a comment. It's obviously dropped off already, but literally, like as soon as I posted the link to the stream, he came on and said, "Looking forward to it," or something like that.
Wow,
I don't
dude.
remember.
Wow.
What did he say? He said, "First comment for good luck." I'm like, okay, well, there you go. Who else do we have here tonight? We have, well, of course, Netter of Netter's Network. Love of my life. How you doing, sweetie? Yeah, she's throwing me kisses. And that's all we got tonight? Okay, well, it shouldn't be a small group.
Well, that's all right. Doomcock is on, and
yeah, I know. And originally, I had said that the how do you call it? The drawing that I'm going to do tonight for Heart of the Jedi. I was originally going to do it just for the people in the stream, but then the guys at Midnight's Edge gave me a little plug and
cool.
put up the my note that said I'd be giving away a copy of it. And Mr. Tickle Trunk started following me, and yeah, he's good people. And he said he couldn't make it because he was going to be, I don't know, at another stream. I'm like, you know what? Maybe what I'll do, because Friday is a tough night for people.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think instead of you having to be here physically, if you want, that's fine. Just let me know you want to be in the drawing. But I will leave, anybody who puts a comment on this video over the next week, up to next week, and says, yeah, I'd like, to be in the drawing for a copy of the Samuel Proctor. Heck yeah, I want to be. That's the only reason I'm here. Damn it, no. No. Samuel Proctor's good people. He's a regular, but I still think that's funny. Leave a comment in. Well, of course, if you leave a comment here in the stream, fine, we got you. But if you're here in the future over the next week and you're catching up on the stream, go ahead and put a comment and say, yes, I would like a copy of Heart of the Jedi, and I'll put you in. And what we'll do is Netter and I will do a live drawing next week, on camera, so that you guys can see we're being absolutely fair about it. Okay?
I've got a copy of it, and I'm reading it, and it's pretty good. I mean, it's
and I haven't mentioned this to a lot of people. I didn't say anything in the MeWe group or anything, but the fact is, the full text of the story is available online for free and has been since 92 or whatever. It was just this printing of it. It was the first printing they did of it in this format, and that's going for, seriously. The bidding starts at $50 on eBay right now, but buy it nows are $500 and $600.
Oh yeah,
it's crazy.
I know. It's like trying to get a Cara Dune Black Series figure. It's like I spent $90 on mine.
No. She's saying the Black Series. We got the vintage series.
Okay.
Yeah,
I remember.
I got the Black Credit Series, so I didn't get the one in the black package, but the one I've got fits with the rest of my figures.
Well, I was just going to ask Stephanie, do you actually collect the Black Series?
I do, and that's all I collect. And people send me 3 3/3 inch, and I'm like, I don't like.
Well, isn't it a bit confusing that the 3 3/4 inch actually has a Black Series, which is not the same as the 6-inch Black Series?
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't look the same.
I swear, every time I'm looking for a figure, I say, Nanette says to me, "Is this the one you're looking for, the Black Series?" And I'm like, I don't know. Does it say it's 6-inch or 3 3/4? Because there's both.
Yeah, and
I don't even know what Black Series means for 3 3/4. It's not like they're more expensive or anything. They're just
I don't. I think it's just a label,
and
package, and I gotta say this: And I've been collecting since I got my first. Here's your Han and Luke thing, and it'll come next year.
Oh, you go back
And-
to the early
Yeah,
bird.
1977. I was 9 years old.
Boomer, she and I really chewed some of the same ground, clearly,
Yeah,
historically.
We did.
Yeah,
And, I'll send you the I did a video about with American Pie, but it was to Star Wars.
The Weird Al video.
No, not the Weird Al. It's the original song to Star Wars, and it's all just fans and stuff like that.
Oh, that's cool.
And it, the picture of the theater at the end is the theater I saw all 3 movies in, and the first 2 Indiana Jones movies, and then Last Crusade was way out in the boondocks where they were building their Mecca, whatever that died. They're they used to. Here's what happened: the downtowns in towns like mine were killed by malls, and then in the late 80s and 90s, the malls started dying. Okay, I saw Indiana Jones and Last Crusade at the mall, and now that theater's gone.
Yeah,
that mall built on beautiful farmland that could be used for growing corn, wheat, oats, cows, is nothing but a big empty goddamn building.
I swear that we tend to, on the Sunday stream, we always start out with good old days, but we could very easily go to a very sad story of the good old days, talking about things that we love that have gone away.
We could.
Well, we also talk about things like Howard the Duck.
Let me tell you, I saw it. You clipped that, and I knew
I did. I finally put that up yesterday.
And I'm telling you, I am very proud of that thumbnail. That HD slapped over Leia Thompson's butt. It's just, if you don't get like a whole bunch of clicks on that just for that thumbnail alone, I'm telling you.
We'll see how it goes. Yeah, but check. Yeah, we do these good old day segments because we also. I think part of it was I didn't want content that was going to get dated, because whenever you do a news story, it gets dated like 2 weeks later. But I also wanted to do let's have something a little more positive. So even if we have just a bunch of sad news stories tonight, we can at least talk about something more positive in the beginning of the stream.
Well, and I feel like it's important to always, as we deal with some of this crummy news, remember why we care about this stuff.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what sometimes this is.
Yeah.
Notice Samuel Proctor saying happy birthday to you there.
Thank you, Samuel. I appreciate it. Thank you.
I don't know if anything's sad right now, and that's my thing, is we don't know enough. And we're kind of going, because Filoni, people are complaining about him, Catholic Kennedy, blah, blah, but no. He grew up under Lucas. And I'm agreeing with Andre from Midnight's Edge. He's a politician, and he will play the game till he gets where he wants to be. And right now, it appears that from the announcement, not the thing that really happened, but the announcement that he's where he wants to be.
Yeah.
The thing that
what? Stephanie, before we jump into it, and I absolutely do, because this is the meat of what I wanted to talk about tonight. I just wanted to ask Age of Boomer, you want to stick around, or is this your jumping off point?
I got to jump off at this point. I'd love to stick around, but I'm going to.
That's cool. No, I want to be sensitive to your. I am so
Happy
thankful.
Birthday.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Salud and kapla.
Yes.
I super appreciate you stopping in.
Thank you.
Look, of course, everybody that listens. Look for Aged Boomer, join his channel. Sunday nights, he and I on his channel do the Geeky Geezers, where we talk about this week's news for those of you that can't follow all of the other channels all week long.
Yeah.
Basically, I mean, and we're honest. We tell you where we got it from. If it came from Midnight's Edge, if it came from Clownfish, who it came from.
Yeah.
We're not trying to take anything away from them. We're just
No.
doing commentaries
But we try to give our own take on it too, and even try to find more obscure stuff that maybe other people aren't talking about. But
Yeah.
oh, cool. All right. Well, listen.
Happy birthday, my friend.
Thank you too. Definitely check out while you're on Troy's channel. Check us out. Definitely check out Stephanie's channel. I've recently discovered it. She does good.
Let her
she
drop
does like,
the link a little while.
It's like
ago,
morning
yeah.
live streams. They're afternoon live streams. They're really cool, and she'll respond to you when you type in the chat too.
Yes,
That's always important.
And I dropped a video today too. And I'll do more regular videos when I get the system fixed up. But the live streams are like my lifeblood right now.
Okay, cool.
Oh, I dig it. Anyway,
right.
Boomer, I will have those notes for the Sunday stream to you before the rewatch tomorrow.
That's
okay?
fine.
As
And
usual.
I appreciate it. You know, like I said, if you're having any trouble, they'll let me know. I can always pitch into.
No
All right.
problem.
All right. Thank you again.
Happy
and
birthday, my friend.
everyone have a good night.
Happy
Good
birthday.
weekend. Take care.
Take
Thank
care.
you. Good night.
Samuel Proctor said something about Wolf 10. Is Wolf 10 in the house? I'm not seeing any comments from him, but if you're here, Wolfie, welcome.
Yeah.
So Stephanie, yes. So not only did I, that I saw your stream because I was commenting there, but I also drop whenever I see that you go live, I drop a note in the MeWe group.
What he said is that his birthday's the day before Wolf 10's.
Oh, gotcha. I'm sorry. I didn't read the comments back that far. That's fine. But yeah, I in the MeWe group, the fans against Disney Star Wars, I drop your links to your videos whenever you go live. Well,
Thanks.
because they're so relevant to exactly what we're talking about. And that's exactly why I desperately wanted to have you on tonight. First, one thing I wanted to mention, for those of you that follow me on a regular basis, you know that I always start out with the red band page. Just a little warning that, we're going to use some language. We are not going to censor ourselves if we feel like being a little salty or a little blue with some of our humor. But there's always a different quote every week at the bottom. And this week's quote is, I feel, very relevant to our topic tonight. And I'll explain why in a moment. He who establishes his argument by noise and command shows that his reason is weak. Now, why did I share that particular quote by Michael of Montaigne? It's because there are people in our community, and Stephanie, you and Boomer and I were talking about this a little bit in the green room. There are people in our community who are so black-pilled that they just want to hate everything. Everything is bad news, and they literally project onto everything the worst possible interpretation. And don't get me wrong, I do understand having a bias. We all do. We're human. We have a bias. We have what we want to be true. We have what we project. But I like to think of myself as a little bit more intellectual. I like to think of myself as at least being rational enough to be aware of my biases, set them aside, look at the news, listen to other people's comments. Okay. Sometimes, for example, Stephanie, when I listen to your streams, definitely when I listen to Midnight's Edge and those guys, I'll hear you guys say something that I didn't think of. Because let's face it, I'm not omniscient. I try to be rational, but I don't know it all.
Oh yeah.
And above everything else, I appreciate people like Doomcock and Tom from Midnight's Edge, definitely Tom Conkle and Kamran Pasha, and yourself, Stephanie, who have sources and cite your sources when you can and say, look, I know something. I know something you don't.
You know,
today, in fact, the news that everybody is talking about, not enough people are saying this, Stephanie, although the Midnight's Edge guys did. It's really you that broke this story in our community.
Well, yeah. I mean, they said it. Andre said it because I was like, "Did you guys see this?"
Yep.
And
they
Andre
had
was like, and Andre's like, "No," and Tom's like, "No," and then all of a sudden, and then I showed them the Fantha Tracks thing, and by the time it got about eight here, EST, well, this is old news. It's like I'd already known that. I was like, yeah, I know. And it's not old news. It's not, because they didn't announce it. They put it on the website yesterday or the day before, and we just noticed it. And there was a reason. I don't care what their excuses are.
Yep.
That article came out a week ago or two. This shows up now. There's a reason for it.
Yep.
Now we're all talking about it. Now, to muddy the waters, somebody probably not working for Lucasfilm dumped, well, they're not making Rangers of the New Republic.
You know,
No,
Stephanie, I just
that's
realized
not an official source.
we need to, for the sake of, you and I know what we're talking about. I'm thinking that our stream might not even realize, because, we haven't gotten to Geeky Geezers yet to talk about this. So it's been going around in all of the outlets that Dave Filoni has recently, not so recently. Now we're hearing almost a year ago, he was moved to the position of what's his title now, Stephanie?
It is direct production. I'm gonna
supervisor or executive something.
Basically, he's overviewing.
Oh, wait a minute. You know what? I think I have the article up, don't I? No, I guess I don't. Sorry about that.
He's basically, literally, the guy that oversees all production for everything.
Yeah.
And all creative content for everything. Now, there are people going, he's just Kennedy's, blah, blah, blah. It's like, I've never seen him do anything woke.
But
what a man says and what a man does are two different things.
Here's what's very interesting. So I think that, and I want to front load this with, I am not casting aspersions at anyone in our community. No. I may disagree with people in our community, and I will say what that is and why in just a moment, but this is not a dig at anybody. Okay. But there are some in our community that are saying, oh, this is a big nothing burger because this is from a year ago and they're just releasing it. You've said this, Stephanie. I said it myself in the back of my mind, and Kamran Pasha said this too. Oh, really? It's really old news? Then why is it coming out now all of a sudden? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's not a big boomer mistake like, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to hit send on my direct message. No. That's not what it was. There was a legitimate reason that they held off on making this announcement until now. Yep. So those people that are saying it's a big nothing burger,
they want, here's the deal. Disney has put itself in such a bad position over the last 20 years that there are people out there that want the company to fail.
Yeah.
I have a different view. There are too many people that work for Disney. It is an American brand. I'm looking at it as something that I want to see succeed. Mm-hmm. I want to see it do better. It's not doing well now because it went too far globally.
Yep.
Okay. It has to retain its identity, and it could have very well done it with Star Wars if it had remembered. It is a fairy tale. It is timeless. Mm-hmm. It is geared toward boys. Let the people who know what they're doing do it. We will gear a park to that and let the weirdos, little boys, run wild. No, weirdos, not Raylos. They would never go.
Raylos are weirdos.
They would never go to a park like this. And the girls who love it run wild. Yeah. That's what you do with that. And, we'll just make it for girls. You can't do that with Star Wars.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was a kid, and it was a summer, it was a fall after, it was the fall of 77. I was in fourth grade, and I walked in, and we're all like, oh, Star Wars. And I was talking to all the guys, and all the girls made fun of me. But you want to know who made fun of us?
Mm.
The girls. If
The
you're a girl,
boys
love Star.
never did they?
No, they didn't. The girls.
They wanted
did.
you to be Princess Leia when they played Star Wars, right?
Yeah. And I was like, I can't do that because I don't want to get in her. After Empire Strikes Back, I was like, I don't want to get in her, between her and Han. I can't do that. You know, I honestly, that was me. I know it's weird, but that was me.
No, I dig it. I totally dig it.
You know, I made up my own character. You know, that's what we did.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. See, and that's funny because after Return of the Jedi, you had that whole span where all you had was the EU, really.
Yeah.
And for most of us, it was the Star Wars role-playing game.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, of all the franchises that have had role-playing games, the Star Wars role-playing game was the best. There is stuff that was non-canon in the role-playing game that's made it into canon. It never conflicted with anything. It was so well thought out, and that's what a lot of us did after Return of the Jedi.
But what's really funny is that the fans know more at this point. We do.
Yeah.
Than the people going, I'm going to write a Star Wars novel. You know, it's like, you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. I mean, have you watched the High Republic authors Brady Bunch thing?
I have not. I go to the Star Wars YouTube page to downvote it and put in a comment. I never do the copy and paste that everyone else does. Yeah. I always drop quotes from the Forbes article, from the Variety articles, you know, the thanking China, you know, and the province for, you know, for Mulan and stuff. Yeah. I always drop that stuff, you know, and I'm the one unique one.
Claudia Gray, Justina Ireland, the racist, and Claudia Gray,
oh gosh,
I guess not a lesbian because she has a boyfriend. I'm like,
I'm sure she goes with whatever will do her.
I'm like, when that came up, I kind of posted to Andre in a chat. I'm like, she has a boyfriend, and he's like, Stephanie Janiczek says she has a boyfriend.
By the way, guys, when she says Andre, she's talking about Andre from Midnight's Edge. Yeah. And I'll tell you, not that they need my support, but if you're not following Midnight's Edge, you're missing out on some of the best industry analysis there is right now.
And he's Norwegian, and I'm Norwegian. And
I didn't know you were of Norwegian descent.
Yeah, my grandfather was off the boat.
Nice.
And in private, someday I'll tell you that story because
sure,
it is very historically relevant, and you'll walk away going, "Holy shit!"
I'm sure. I have no doubts. I'm third generation Italian. No, I'm sorry, fourth generation Italian.
My husband is second generation Italian, though you wouldn't know it by his last name. His mom is full Italian.
From
Abruzzi. So I make the best goddamn meatballs on the planet because she taught me.
Nice. Yeah. I didn't know my great grandfather, but my grandmother, I spent a lot of time with my grandmother. We would go to lunch every Wednesday, and I would just, you know, ask her questions, pick her brain about, you know, the history of our family and stuff. And she'd tell me, and I think a lot of the stories she told me were kind of fabricated, urban legend, you know, built up kind of things, but it didn't matter. They were great stories. And she told me about how my grandfather had come over from Italy when he was 14. He had gotten into a fight with his sister, and he bit her and drew blood. And he knew he couldn't go home because his father would beat him. So he stowed away on a boat to come to America. I'm like, that's pretty damn extreme.
That is, you know, my grandfather came over from Norway because they had like 7 kids. He was number 5. And the oldest son is the law of primogeniture. So the oldest
Hold
son
on,
would
Stephanie. I
inherit.
need to interrupt you for a second, just because I want to very quickly welcome Max World Entertainment, Trey. He says this is funny. You got to see this. He says, "Shh, I'm not here right now. I'm still in my stream." He's got his own stream going on right now.
Max, oh my God.
I
Really?
know, Trey. If you do make it back, I'm going to be giving away a copy of Heart of the Jedi. If you're interested, I don't know if you are or not. I know you're more a Star Trek fan than Star Wars, but if you are and you're interested, I'd be happy to put you into the drawing for it. But dude, go ahead and finish up your stream.
Yeah.
I love the work that you do. Max World Entertainment. Netter's going to drop the link for his channel. If you're not subscribing to him, please do. If you're at all a Star Trek fan, he is a huge supporter of independent people, fans making their own fan films, and really, it's some of the best work right now in Star Trek.
Cool.
Thanks for being here. I'm sorry, Stephanie, if you want to continue what you were saying about your.
So Grandpa, his brother moved. He immigrated to the United States and ended up in Wisconsin and had a dairy farm and a photography business. So Grandpa, jumped on a boat to England, jumped on a very famously named ship in 1908.
Really?
It was its first voyage, or I'll tell you, it was Lusitania.
Wow. Yeah, I
And
kind of figured that's what it was.
and it was landed at Ellis Island and did all the, you saw Godfather 2 with, Vito going through all that crap. But Grandpa did that. And I remember him. I was 4 years old when he died, but I remember him talking to me and singing Norwegian folk songs to me.
Aww.
And it was, he was that whole thing, because this is a thing that kids not even 20 years younger than us don't know about their families.
Yep.
Because they don't know their great grandparents. And if they do, they were kept away from them.
Yep.
They're in a home and you can't, bullshit, let them see them. That's who they are.
I've heard
Your
so
past
many older
makes
people
you who you are.
I've heard so many older people saying, you know what? Don't try to protect me. If I die because I'm getting to see my grandkids, then it's worth it. I don't want, it's not worth living if I can't hug my grandkids.
And the things I grew up, because my parents grew up during the Depression, their greatest generation. So, Grandpa lost his farm. My grandparents and my dad's parents lost 2 houses, not one. You learn about what poverty really is. We have no idea. The government takes care of everybody, and that's bullshit. You have no idea what poverty is until you're looking at something as a child for $1. And this is inflation. But when your father's handing you $1 saying in 1932 there was a Daisy BB gun in the window of Kroger's hardware store for $1, and I couldn't save the money for it.
Yeah.
That is big time reality check. And I'm not sure if I understood what he was really saying, because I'm not a good saver. I got a good husband, trust me. I'm an idiot, about stuff like that. But
it's the opposite in our house. Netter's much better with the money than I am.
It's literally the thing that makes you stop. You know what? I saved aluminum cans and went clamming. I'm not even going to explain what that is. With my brother, to earn money to buy my Minnesota duck license, a duck stamp, and my deer tags to hunt in Minnesota, because we lived in Wisconsin, it's right across the river, and that was better hunting ground. So, and that's where we went. And I had
So
to
you
save
used to
my
be a
money.
Midwesterner too.
I'm from La Crosse, Wisconsin, originally. That's where I was born.
Nice. Yeah.
And
And you know, I'm a Chicagoan myself, so.
yeah, well, my mom, I love this story about my mom.
Mm-hmm.
Grandpa ended up going to Chicago after they lost the farm. And mom was a teenager. She got a job at a Venetian blind factory that was owned by an Italian family. The guy that owned it had been a capo for Al Capone. And
Do you know his name?
Canizaro. I think that was the name.
Okay. No, I don't know.
think I don't.
I
I don't
know a
maybe-
lot of. How do I say? I guess I don't have to be as delicate as I used to be.
No, you don't have to.
I know a lot of people, so what I should say is my grandfather knew a lot of people, and I know a lot of people through my grandfather. But no, I
Anyway.
don't know that name.
Anyway, mom dated one of the guy's nephews. She was also dating this guy, that guy, and everybody else, because that's what women did.
Mm-hmm.
They took girls to movies. They took girls to dances. They
Yeah, that whole idea of
Took
going
him to
steady is not is the next step up. You know.
there was no steady back then.
Mm-hmm.
There was. She said, "I like that guy the best. I'm going to marry him." That was it. That was exactly what.
Up until
She told
then,
me.
you went with different people all the time.
And that was in 1941.
Sure.
And I'm going to tell you,
I like
she got
better marry
engaged
him.
to my dad. And when Pearl Harbor was announced,
Mhm.
they came back from Mass. In fact, she decided to be Catholic when she was at Stevens Point going to college.
Mhm.
She, we're Catholic, so whatever. But she got baptized and whatever. And her mother was Church of Christ.
Okay.
And Grandpa was Lutheran. So we had this, there might be a schism. There might be a whole Protestant revolution. I don't know what's going on. Grandma was mad at her. Grandma was really pissed.
Because she
And-
didn't marry Church of Christ member?
No, because she became Catholic.
I'm
Gran-
sorry. Yeah.
my
Okay.
mom, and it had nothing to do with marrying my dad or anything, but whatever. And I think it probably might have to do with the guy that she was dating, who was the Venetian blind factory's guy nephew, who was very pissed off that mom married my dad. And it's a very hilarious story, and it's not funny when you think about who they were and what they could have done.
Oh yeah,
would-
yeah.
I wouldn't be here if there would have been a real fuck this shit moment.
Yeah, I dig
know,
it.
And my dad never said anything about it. My mom did. And then I started putting two and two together. And then after talking to the Italians, I know, because I'm married to that,
Yep.
it's like, holy
Yes.
mother,
Yeah.
when you see black sedans circling the church when you're getting married.
Let me Stephanie, let me just share with you where I'm coming from. So to this day I still don't want to say names, but there was a good friend of my grandma and grandpa. We found out he died on the 6:00 news because he was shot coming out of a restaurant in Chicago. And the very
shit.
first thing she did was she ran to the phone and she called his wife and said, "I'm so sorry, I just heard," and was in tears. That's how close I was to
I
all
don't,
of that.
I can't even, I mean, it's really funny. And we're supposed to be talking about Star Wars, but let's finish this out.
Sure.
I watch Michael Franzese and Sammy the Bull. on
Mhm.
on YouTube because they're interesting to me.
Sure.
And I have friends that have said I lived in Boston. I had to walk between the L or whatever they call the train in my apartment through the Italian district. And we'd see these well-dressed young Italian guys following us. And we, finally ask them, what are you doing? Making sure you get home. Then you find out the reason why there's any weird shit going down is because the mob's there.
Yep.
And if the weirdos showed up, they kick the shit out of them. They kill them.
Yeah.
Yep. You're gone. Bye.
Yep.
And, when you're watching these videos and these old guys that are out of the business, out of the life, talking about it, it was real. That shit was real. Sammy the Bolt saying there was a really good looking woman. She had a child and she'd walk past us every day. And the reason why she did is because she wouldn't get bothered because she knew that she was safe. Because you guys would kill anybody.
That it's funny you say it because my grandmother used to say the same thing. She would say, "You see this on all the movies, right?
Yeah.
Where the mobsters go into the restaurants and they extort the money." And that's true. I mean, they did.
Yeah.
She said, but back then, there really was value to that. They really did take seriously protecting the neighborhood.
When my dad and mom went to Boston and had dinner, my brother-in-law and my sister took them out to an Italian restaurant in Little Italy in Boston. And they left the car and it was a Mercedes. And, Dad never been in a Mercedes his whole life. He's like, my dad, 6'3".
Yep.
A German guy going, we're going to leave this car here. And Bill, Roger's like, it's fine. Bill, it's fine. And Dad's like, really? And Bill, Roger's like, the mob runs this place. Don't worry.
Yep.
Because those guys are like, we own these restaurants. This is our, you get out of here. You
know what, Stephanie, I might have to have you back just to talk about this particular topic because you're making me think of all these stories that I could share that I would love to share.
Yeah. But you know what? It's really funny because when I think about it, and I'm going to do this to Star Wars, let's segue into this.
Sure.
When I think about the underworld.
Yeah.
And I think about where they could take it. It's not Jabba. It's not just the Black Sun Star, whatever they call it. You could have an entire other thing where you go into sections of Coruscant and Corellia and everything where it's run by this family, but it's safe because you're spending money. You're like a tourist and you're not part of it. My husband told me his grandfather would tell his uncles, don't get involved with those people.
Oh, yeah.
That's it. Just don't. They're there, fine, say hi, whatever. That's it. Don't get involved with them. And that's all you have to do.
Yeah.
And when somebody innocent is caught in the crossfire, it's sad. But when you look at I hate to say this, it sounds callous. My husband would go, don't ever say that. But it's very rare when you look at it's very rare. I mean, I'm like, and what's really weird is, anyway, I don't want to, but you could add that element to the underworld of Star Wars and actually have a very civilized, very sophisticated, because Jabba's not sophisticated. The Black Sun's not sophisticated. Right. You could have a human, sophisticated underworld organized crime organization that could be very powerful in that world, and no one ever thought of it. It's Old West. Everything when you look at the underworld in Star Wars, it's Old West, and it's not. It's partly Chicago because it is, but the way they do things is very Tombstone, very Dodge City.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know what? You want to change things? You want to make it more interesting? Add Michael Franzese to that. as somebody who's like, yeah, I'll talk to you. Very legitimate businessman on the front, and not legitimate at all. Because he's very honest about his involvement in what he was, because his father was, Sonny Francis was a very interesting guy.
Yeah.
Very interesting. But let's talk about Star Wars.
Yeah, no. So just to pivot this, you were talking about that. I'll just say this. I'll do one name drop. My mom was at a funeral. Actually, it was the funeral that I, kind of, referenced earlier. And Antoinette Giancana was there. You know that name, the Mafia
Yes,
princess.
I do. Yes, I
And
do.
they both went out for a smoke. They just happened to meet because they went out for a smoke. And this was basically the way the conversation went. My mom said, "Oh, I really appreciate you being here. I'm a friend of the family. I'm glad you came out too." She says, "Yeah, it's kind of my duty to be here." She's like, "Boy," she says, "Look, I don't know anything, but I'll tell you this, whoever did this is probably here right now." My mom's like, I know.
Yeah.
And then they looked and they saw guys in suits taking photographs of all of the cars, all of the license plates. And she said, maybe you should go move your car. She goes, I don't care. She said, I don't care if I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm here for family and friends.
Yeah.
And if they look me up, they won't find anything. She's
Yeah.
like, these people are just buzzards. And she's like, yep. Anyway, that's just a little
That's
story
really
about my
interesting to
family.
me. Momo Giancana ended up being killed in Mexico City. Did you know that? Her father.
I didn't know it was in Mexico City. I knew it was outside the
Yeah, it was. He ended up fleeing the United States and ended up there. I watch way too many Dean Martin things, and I love Dean Martin. I know Dina, his daughter.
Yeah.
So it's, and he was on the very outside going, hey, boys, that's really great. Have fun,
Tell me about Dean Martin. I close every show with a Dean Martin song.
I love him. I think, one of my favorite things is that he loved horses, and I have a horse, and I understand it. They are, I get it. There's like a kindred spirit there.
Samuel Proctor, I am definitely going to probably be doing another stream just to talk about
we have to.
this kind of Godfather-y type of stuff. So
we have to.
Definitely come back for that.
Yeah.
You mentioned Star Wars and the Underworld. There's actually two Star Wars Underworlds. One was a TV series cartoon that never got released.
Yeah.
The other is an adult film parody. I found looking up the other one.
I have no intention or desire to see that.
So as an aside,
eyes out.
I do need to mention this. I've mentioned this on previous streams. When you look at what's being made in Hollywood today, and you compare the look of some of these films, and you look at the costumes, okay, and then you look at cosplayers that really care about this stuff and really do it right. Someone pointed out to me that the people doing porn parodies are actually wearing costumes and writing stories for their films that are better than what Hollywood is doing right now. At least on the level of some of the best cosplayers. And I'm like, this is amazing. There is, I kid you not, there is a Star Trek The Next Generation porn parody, and going around on the interwebs, there's an edit of it that takes all the sex out of it. And I swear to you, Stephanie, it's like a good episode of Star Trek The Next Generation. It really is. The actors look like the people that they're playing. The story is clearly written by somebody that understood these characters and the story. I'm like, my mind is just blown. I actually haven't even gotten around to showing it to my wife because I'm like, it's weird to show your wife, hey, look, here's a porn parody with all the porn taken out of it.
It doesn't surprise me because fans care.
Yes.
It doesn't matter where they come from.
And they
have a passion for
industry.
what they have a passion for what they're working on, and that is lacking at Lucasfilm, which is why Dave Filoni is suddenly where he is.
Yeah.
Announced 2 weeks after that variety.
So let's talk a little bit about Dave Filoni. He's been in this position for over a year, right?
Yeah.
Fine. Okay, wonderful. They use the excuse that for technical reasons, they just updated the website, and this is the only reason you know about it. However, Tom from Midnight's Edge points out that he saw that Disney just this week published a job opening at Lucasfilm for the exact same position that he came from, the junior position.
Yeah, because
doesn't necessarily mean anything for sure.
I want to say this. I talked to those guys.
Mm-hmm.
I saw it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say who he got it from. I know he said that, but I'm not going to say it.
Okay.
I was looking at that going, it's either Dave or it's Pablo.
See, that's the other thing too. That's a possibility as well. And we're probably not ever even going to know. There's never going to be an official announcement, right?
Because I want to rub it in Pablo's face.
So let me address that, okay? And I kind of mentioned this a little bit last week, but I really want to drive this home, okay? Because they also talked about this a little bit on Midnight's Edge too. There are fans out there that are going, I will not come back to Star Wars unless I get this and I get this and I get an engraved invitation from George Lucas himself and an apology from Kathleen Kennedy. And look,
you're not going to get that.
You're not going to get that. That's not the way this industry works, okay? But if you're intelligent, you read between the lines and you watch what happens. And when you see this Forbes article and when you see this Variety article, you see what's happening. And then if Kamran Pasha's prediction is correct, and his predictions have been right 100% of the time up till now, okay, if his prediction is right, and I'm going to repeat it right now, he says that when do they have the awards? September, October, or something like that?
Yeah.
You watch. If they do a big lifetime achievement thing for Kathleen Kennedy and she announces her retirement and Jon Favreau is going to be taking over Lucasfilm, if that happens, that is as close as you are going to get to, we realize we effed up. She doesn't know what she's doing. She's out the door.
Yeah.
And we're going to give the fans what they want. That is the closest you are going to get to that.
Yeah. I agree with him on that. It's really funny. He's right. And I know that because I come from the political spectrum. I worked for the House Majority Leader.
Yeah.
I worked for the President of the United States. I know that, but it just grinds your teeth.
Right.
It's like, I want, and I know she's been humiliated because I know they're all talking about that in her circles. I want CBS, ABC, NBC, Fox, all of them going, rah, 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 are freaking out about it. And they won't. When she goes, it'll be, oh, well, bye. Oh, good. She did just such a great job. Bye. That's it. That's what's going to be. But here's
and this is, if I can just kind of, and all I'm doing is regurgitating what Kamran said. So just don't be mistaken. This is not my own. This is nothing original. this is him, and he's right. Okay. He pointed out that in the Hollywood milieu, right, they have their own way of communicating. And when you see things in the trades, you have to interpret it the way they interpret. Okay. So if you think about who the audience is for an article, okay, whether it's, you know what? Perfect example. Do a little teaching here. If you are a scholar of the Bible, okay, when you read a passage in the Bible, you need to know who wrote the book that you're reading and who his audience is, right? Was it, the Pentateuch written by, legend has it that Moses wrote it, and he wrote it for the Hebrews, for the Israelites? Or are we talking about the letters from the different apostles to the specific churches? You have to keep those things in mind because it frames what they're talking about and what they're saying. And you glean more information by understanding that, right? If St. Peter is saying something to the church of Philippi or whatever, what was Philippi going through? What was the history there? What was the sin that he was addressing in them? Can you then relate to that? That might mean something different than someone else. That is very important. And the same is true when you read something in the trades. When you read that Forbes article, when you read that Vanity Fair article, or excuse me, Variety article. Well, them too. But
I said Vanity Fair. I'm sorry. I was the one that started it.
That's okay. But you know what? Either way, whether it's Vanity Fair or Variety, that makes a difference too.
Yeah.
Know who your author is and who the audience is.
Yeah.
And as Kamran pointed out, these articles, you read them, you and I read them, and we could take it completely different. And I hear a lot of people, in the blogosphere saying, oh, well, this means this, and this. That's what you're getting. That is not the message they intend to send.
Yeah.
Pay attention. Read this like a Hollywood insider, because that's what the trades are.
No.
This is them telling, it's coded, right? When they say Bob Chapek has been there a year and now he's starting to bust heads and he's starting to ruffle feathers and he's not stroking egos, the average person goes, well, of course he's not. He's a boss. He's not supposed to. That tells people in Hollywood a very different message. People in Hollywood hear that, oh, in other words, he's tired of the bull crap and people are losing their jobs and he's rearranging.
Yeah.
That is very important. And that means something.
Yeah. And it was aimed at a specific place because really the only place that Disney's having a problem right now is Lucasfilm.
Yeah.
And we've got Kathy who's like, and Pablo going, fire her. The fans hate us, and we can do whatever we want. We can bully,
Yeah.
And it was like, I can't imagine Bob Chapek looking at some of the tweets, and I know they've seen them. Mm-hmm. I've known it. I know it. You can't be Disney and not know what they're doing.
Look, I have seen it. I have seen it from YouTubers that aren't even really in the community, that don't give a flying fig about Star Wars, what I consider mainstream entertainment, saying Star Wars is crap. Science channels making jokes about Star Wars. It is mainstream to rip on the
scene. It's not about that, but it's like, if you're Bob Chapek and you've got your people going, well, this is going on and this is going on, and this is why we're not making money, and the fans are pissed off about this, and and then getting blindsided by Gina Carano.
Yep.
After being blindsided by the Acolyte. Yeah. And
and this was something else Kamran and today Tom Conkle mentioned too, was this idea that sometimes when things happen, it is somebody behind the scenes trying to gauge the depths. Okay.
Yeah, and he's
On
right.
old ships, they used to take ropes that were segmented out into leagues, and they
Yeah, I
would
know.
measure out how deep the
Yeah.
water was.
Yeah,
And that's
Mark
what
Twain.
exactly Mark Twain.
Was, yeah, yeah.
And
I
that's
grew
what
up on the
they're
Mississippi
doing
River.
when they, for example, the current hypothesis is this book that I'm giving away, Heart of the Jedi, was released. This does not happen bootleg. This is not the
No.
author doing it himself.
It
This
was John Favreau doing that.
I don't know that for sure,
I
but
agree
it's
with
certainly
I agree with that rumor.
it certainly seems logical that it would be someone, if not Favreau, then someone like Favreau in that, area of Disney saying, I want to see, if there is, if what Kathleen is saying, oh, they just hate Star Wars, they don't like books, look at what they're doing to the High Republic. Okay, well, let's see. We have this book from the EU from before the Disney era. Let's see what happens if it slips out there. And boom, with no support from marketing or anything, it went like gangbusters.
Yeah.
Okay. And then
I
a few
bought
days
one.
later,
Originally
they
bought
take
10.
it down and it's going for $600 on eBay. You
Yeah.
better believe Disney takes notice of that.
Yeah, and they have to. And when Doomcock, and I know he's still going blah, 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 blah. And, I love him, but dude, do a stream where you're just talking about a topic.
I know. I love Doomcock, but I can't get through his opening segment of singing. I love the guy, but I kind of want to hear the topic he's talking about. I want to real quick welcome Joshua V to the stream.
Hey, Josh.
What's up? You came in at the perfect time because we're actually getting into the main topic for the night.
Yeah.
We're talking about Star Wars. John Filoni's what do you call it? His promotion, I suppose.
His
but
supposed...
if you're interested in some stories about people that have had close relations with people with broken noses, in the Chicago area, listen to the earlier part of the stream.
Yeah.
Right.
I was only on the periphery, and Mom and Dad went to Wisconsin, so that was it, man.
Amen. Oh, and Melissa Harrison's sons, welcome. So glad you're here. So I'm guessing that somebody's live stream must have ended, and you guys are coming over. I'm second best. I understand. I know how it is.
That's okay.
But no, that's exactly, and this is actually a great segue because this is exactly what I wanted to point out. We have people in this community that have their YouTubes that their whole show is about, we hate Disney, we hate Star Wars now. I am not giving them any money.
Yep.
I am boycotting everything. I am so black-pilled, and you are an idiot if you still like anything. And
I'm an idiot then, so.
Well, no, it's exactly it. And it's like, look, that is not intellectually honest, because when I see The Mandalorian, and I'll be honest with you, I wasn't quick to jump on the Mandalorian. I was a little bit kicking and screaming, but it took people like Big Al from Big Al Presents and Skipper Kenner, my good friend, saying, you got to see this, you got to see this, you got to see this. I finally watched it and I'm like, holy crap. This is a love letter to the fans.
I watched it from the beginning of season 1 to the end, because when Jon Favreau got into it, I love Jon Favreau. I've loved him since Swingers. Okay. I love that movie so much. I can't even. My husband's like, those guys, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, it's a good movie. It is a good movie. Him and Vince Vaughn dancing on the table going,
Stephanie, let me say this about Favreau.
Yeah.
About Favreau. Everybody, I mean, even people in our own community think Feige is the guy, the architect behind the whole Marvel thing. That's not true.
No, it's not.
It
It's Jon
really is Favreau.
It is.
Favreau is the
He's-
guy that set them up for success. And
He's
since he walked away, it's been going downhill. Feige is not
that's
the
fine.
genius.
Take Marvel, SGWs, run
Yep.
Marvel.
Make it the
Run-
MCU. I don't care.
No, I don't give a shit. Leave Star Wars alone.
Amen.
Let Jon Favreau turn it into the Skywalker Solo saga. Blah, I don't.
No, I
care.
agree with you 100%.
I
For all
mean,
the new people that have just joined us, Leia plus size. She just called me out. I agree. John got the MCU going. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
He
And
did.
definitely
Yeah.
listen to Leia plus size, and Wolf 10 Media. When they're streaming together, their show is great. They have a great dynamic and they have some really great insights. But guys, I want to, since we have a bunch of new people that just jumped onto the stream, want to let you guys know I am going to be doing a drawing for the book Heart of the Jedi that was available for, I don't know, 2-3 days on Amazon. It was originally to an EU book that was supposed to come out in 92 and didn't for whatever reason. And under some very mysterious circumstances, it was available very briefly on Amazon. I got an extra copy that I am going to give away to somebody who's either in the stream today or who makes a comment in the comments over the next week. What I want you to do is give me a comment and say, yeah, I'd like to be in the drawing. What we'll do next week's stream is we'll print out everybody's name that is interested. I will, actually Nanette's going to do it. She'll draw randomly on camera so you guys can see we're doing it as fair as we can. And then you're going to have to provide us with information on how to get it to you, but we'll get you the copy of that book. That book starts on eBay right now, secondhand. The lowest starting price is $50. With buy it nows for $500 to $600. Just saying. So absolutely. If you don't win it, don't feel bad. The full text is available online, and I will drop a link. It's been available since 92 if you really want to read it. But if you want the physical copy, I'm happy to send it to somebody this week. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Stephanie, go ahead.
The physical.
You don't even remember what you were saying, do you?
No, I don't even, because
That's okay.
whatever.
It doesn't matter.
But
But my biggest problem has been that I have said from the beginning, since Disney took over, and a lot of people have been very dissatisfied, even going back to The Force Awakens, saying, yeah, this isn't Star Wars anymore. I don't look. I am very much in the same camp as Andre from Midnight's Edge. Okay. You withhold your money from the stuff you don't like, but you do patronize the things that you like, because otherwise they don't get the message. They don't know you're even out there anymore.
Yeah, they don't, because the money guys are so disconnected from reality.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that if people understood what The Force Awakens was, no one would have gone to see that movie. No one. Because I'm going to tell you something. There was a part where I screamed, Chewie, kill that motherfucker. No, it was Chewie, kill that faggot. And I said that out loud, screamed it. There were women screaming. There were little kids going, oh my, blah, 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 daddy. We're walking out, not like we walked out from Star Wars, the original, where we're like, it was, hey, women going, why did they do that?
Yeah.
I mean, there were women there strictly for Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
Look,
I feel like
you don't do that to him.
Even that.
What the fuck?
Even that they could have come back from, because a lot of fans were looking at that going, okay, that was Harrison Ford finally getting what he wanted.
Yeah,
He wanted,
finally we were told,
you know,
but are we sure?
but what made the difference was the next movie. The next movie had the reflection back on the previous movie on where they were going. And when we saw Last Jedi, it was like, okay, that's it. Forget this crap.
And again, I'm going to say the Force Awakens, it took me a year to say it was a shitty movie.
Yep.
It was a shitty movie from the beginning to the end. No one gave a shit about Rey at the beginning. No one gave a shit about Rey at the end. We were there to see.
I went into it thinking, I left the theater thinking, well, maybe Kylo Ren is basically Jason Solo, and maybe Rey is basically Jaina. If it turned out they were, if it turned out they were brother and sister, and which would have rhymed, like Lucas likes to say,
it would have worked.
Okay, so they changed the names of the characters, but we basically got the basic story from the EU. I'd have been fine with it, but that's not where they went with it. They went with the whole kill the past, destroy it if you have to. It's like, you know what?
That's Pablo Hidalgo.
Yep.
And the story group in a nutshell.
Yep.
And when you look at what JJ left them and walked away going, fuck it, I don't care anymore. Fuck you. You didn't do anything.
And I said this years ago. I said apathy is even worse than anger. It really is, because when you have apathy, people walk away.
Here's the problem. Here's the thing. Rey should never have been a mystery box. She should have been somebody we knew. This is Jaina Solo. Yeah. She is doing X, Y, and Z. Her brother is a total faggot piece of shit.
Yep.
And no one knows why. And I'm going to say this. There's nothing in their so-called canon that explains why he did what he did.
Nope.
Nothing.
It makes zero sense. And that's the biggest problem.
That pisses me off.
That is the biggest problem. They got their messaging across. They deconstructed. They, made Rey the bestest ever. But they did not.
Solo.
But they did not in any way communicate it through a good story. And they did not communicate. They did not communicate it in a way that follows the rules of the universe that they're writing in. Again,
exactly.
We're dealing with a bunch of Hollywood hacks who say, oh, it's fantasy fiction. We can make up whatever we want. No, that's not how writing works. Once you've written a story, you have created rules for the world you've created, and you must abide by them.
And the thing about it is, they looked at the fans like we're not sophisticated. We don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah. Well, going back to
more about Star Wars than Pablo does.
Going back to my original premise that I have never deviated from since Disney took over, since the very first movie they did, I said profit motive may be slow, but it will ultimately win out. It is like gravity. It is like the rules of physics. You cannot escape it.
Well, when Jeff at World Class Bullshitter started showing that they're not selling their stuff, that it was going on sale early, when it appeared it was 30% off.
It doesn't take a genius. Anybody who goes into a store and looks around at the toy aisle and can't find any Star Wars toys. And when you do find Star Wars toys, what is it? It's from The Mandalorian and the original stuff. You never see anything from the sequel trilogy.
Yep, and there's nothing there anyway, because the moment the original stuff shows up, it's gone, because the collectors are buying it.
I laughed so hard when I saw the Amazon, I don't know what you call it, the Amazon page for the Black Series Admiral Holdo figure.
Yeah.
The comments on it were hysterical. I laughed so hard. They shut that down really quick.
My friend Dave Pensack, who's a commenter, he's one of the Blue Wrenches, sent me her black figure, her Black Series figure. I sacrificed her, and I did it about, I think it was in March of last year when we were just getting in the lockdown. Maybe in April, because I was like, I'm sacrificing a virgin to the gods to hopefully end this viral plague. And I did. And I'm gonna tell you something. That fucking thing evaporated. It set on fire and it evaporated. There's nothing left of it.
That even the casting for that really hurt me because I kind of like Laura Dern. I'm a huge Twin Peaks fan, a big David Lynch fan. She's very much in that, troupe that works with David Lynch. And I'm like, that's where you shine. That's where you belong. Not here. This makes zero sense. And I have seen, how it should have ended. I've seen Critical Drinker, all these different people who have said, this is how you could have made this movie so much better. And you know what? Even what's that Ortega kid that re-edited it?
Oh, Ivan.
Ivan Ortega. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. I don't really follow his streams.
I know him,
but I did see the video he did, and I'm like, yeah, this is a lot better. Things
I didn't watch it because I can't stomach watching even an edited version.
I understand
The Last Jedi,
but it's an example of why editing is so crucial. We've talked about how I'm sorry, I'm forgetting George Lucas's ex-wife's name, who edited Star Wars. Marsha, thank you. How Marsha saved Star Wars in the editing in a lot of ways.
It was saved in the editing room.
And I look at what Ortega did with the Last Jedi, and I'm like, okay, I see what you're doing here.
Yeah,
that's definitely better.
See, I don't look at it. Everybody looks at it from a Luke centric, and it pisses me off because he's not my favorite character. I literally I get just like, oh, Luke, Luke. I'm like, there are more than that in the movie.
Yeah.
I'm a Han Solo fan.
Sure.
My heart was broken in TFA. And when I saw The Last Jedi and I saw people whining, oh, now you feel how I feel. How do you like it? How do you like it? You guys didn't give a shit. How does it feel? That pissed me off.
Yeah.
And if they don't if they go through the sequel trilogy and they fix it, they erase it. If they don't fix that, drunk, deadbeat, dad, Han Solo, after everything that I read the EU, I read it all.
Yeah.
They don't fix that. They don't fix Leia, Hillary Clinton, Organa. I have no comprehension.
I never thought of it that way. Good point.
I have no comprehension of that is. I know who Leia is.
Yeah.
Because when I was a little girl, 9 years old, and again 12, I'm like, I want to be her because she's not only a badass, she got the coolest guy in the galaxy.
Even the backstory, right? People bemoan the prequel trilogy and even some of Star Wars with all the background politics and stuff. All of that's very important. You need to know what's going on in their government to know why people are resisting and, fighting against it. And it all made sense through the Clone Wars, through, the rebellion, through the destruction of the Death Star, the killing of the Emperor. That makes sense as a narrative. You get into these Disney things and you're like, I don't understand what's going on or why.
Yeah, well, we don't know. When you walk out of TFA and you're like, the galaxy went from a galaxy to my neighbors yelling at each other across the street. That's bad.
Yeah.
That's really bad. That's not world building.
Yeah.
And, to ask J.J. Abrams to world build. And what's really sad, have you ever seen the movie Regarding Henry?
Yes. Love that movie.
He wrote it and he produced it. And he was a kid.
Really?
He was 18 years old.
Well, it's all downhill from there, I guess.
Well, maybe when you look back on it and go, you really did a good job on that. Maybe you should do that instead
I'll tell
of
you what,
big budget franchises.
he's fine if he does individual movies. Do not put him in charge of franchises, and do not put him in charge of series.
Did you ever see his TED Talk about
Yes,
Star
I
Wars?
did. All of his
Ray,
bullshit about the
mystery.
mystery box.
And I wanted to go up and just kick him in the ass and say,
That
"There's no reason.
that TED
This is
Talk did
Star
not
Wars.
age well.
This is Star Wars. She
No.
doesn't need to be a mystery box. She should have been, the runaway, the solo that ran away going, I can't do this. I don't want to be a Jedi. Or like her dad. I don't want to do this.
So, well, no,
it could have been
it's
part
like,
of it.
what is, I'm sorry. I don't like to keep saying Tom from Midnight's Edge. What's Tom's last name? I forget. Yeah, we always just call him Tom from Midnight's Edge.
Tom
I mean,
O'Connor.
everybody knows who I'm
O'Connor.
talking about.
O'Connor.
Thank you, Tom O'Connor. Okay, he has said he's pointed out the whole thing that this whole mystery box thing is a bunch of crap.
It is.
And it is not the way the story is meant to be told. George Lucas very much was keyed into the whole concept of mythology. I mean, he wrote a book about mythology, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Tom has pointed out that the thing that JJ does is he goes in, does a big spectacle with all of his special effects, with all of his lens flares. It does well because nobody knows going into it what it's going to be. And then he's out. He's on to the next thing. And then the next person that takes over, the film tanks.
Yeah.
And you can blame it on the other guy.
Yeah. Well, here's the deal. He's a small art house director, just like Ryan Johnson, and that's where they should concentrate. I mean, Regarding Henry is it was a great script. I mean, it was given to Harrison Ford, and he said, I like it, I want to do it. Think about it.
Leia Plus Size says that, Stephanie, you're right about Leia. When she was a little girl, she wanted to be her because she was powerful, beautiful, and got on. Leia Plus Size, you're wrong. That's not right, because we have never had a strong woman before this generation. This generation discovered and invented the strong, powerful woman. To be aspired to.
And my dog is going to run in the Belmont Stakes in 3 weeks.
Right? Exactly. No, that's exactly it. And that's why the worst thing they could do was create a site fixing Ripley or reinventing Ripley or whatever. Rewriting Ripley. As soon as they did that, everybody came out and said, the hell you doing? Bullshit.
Yeah, well, I'm going to tell you this. They're gone. They disappeared. Those two girls, and I'm going to say this, because you follow me on YouTube and I talked about it.
Yep.
Those two girls put their one thing out. They got quartering, threatening lawsuits.
Yep.
EVS, threatening lawsuits.
Yep.
That's huge. Jeremy at Geeks and Gamers.
People are starting to what?
No.
I credit this to Gina. I think people are starting to look and go, screw this. I am fighting back.
But here's the deal. You're not understanding. Here's the deal. There's a girl named Michelle Buckman who was the social media person at Lucasfilm. She put a thing out in 2019 saying, I really want to fix, I'm paraphrasing, but I really want to fix the Star Wars fan base so we can make it less toxic, blah, blah, blah. Kate, one of the girls in that, was introduced to her on, it's on Twitter, Data Racer found her.
Yep.
And suddenly there's a person who won a Webby who put this all together. Mm-hmm. One of those two girls, this rewriting Ripley, put this thing together. No, they couldn't. My dog could write a sentence before they could even put one together. Okay. This rewriting Ripley was done by people inside Lucasfilm. Pablo follows them. I have the receipts.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Martin follows them. He retweeted them. Okay, that is all the story group. That's it. That's the story group. And they have been quiet. Those two girls,
Steph.
they've gone.
Oh my
They're done.
God. I'm sorry. I have to interrupt you because Drunk 3PO just made a comment on my stream. Holy crap.
Hi, Drunk. Oh my God, Jay, hi.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and his
Dude,
pretty hair.
if you have any
I
interest
love your hair.
and want to go back, we were talking about you a little bit earlier today. Thank you so much, not only for your most recent stream, but you read my comment and you kind of liked my take on it. We've been talking about the whole Filoni situation, how I feel that honestly, the whole Filoni thing, that it's been a year and they're just mentioning it now. I think that's all because of the politics that's going on behind the scenes right now.
Yep.
I really don't think that this is a nothing burger. I think this is,
it's not a nothing burger. It's
and
it's a nuclear bomb.
Yeah, it's saying a lot, and a lot of people are saying, well, but there's other people that have that same title that he does. Yeah, but they're not in Star Wars. They're not, doing the same thing he is. I think that I mean, and of course, this is my speculation, Stephanie. You got guys like you and Drunk 3PO and the guys at Midnight's Edge would know this better than I would, because the people in the industry. But it just seems reasonable and logical.
Why is this doing this to me?
It's technology.
Steph has a crush on me, so I had to say hi.
I don't blame her. I kind of freaking have a crush on you, dude. I mean, hanging out with Gina Carano and all that.
No, Jay is like, he reminds me of my brother Bill, the one I told you about.
Yes.
He's like this cool guy. He just does stuff. He knows people. And he puts stuff out, and he's just there, and he's just awesome. Jay and I are gonna get drunk one night. We're gonna get drunk together one night.
I'm getting drunk right now.
I am done. I quit.
So Drunk 3PO says he already has the book, and that's awesome. Drunk 3PO, I do have,
and it was shared by
this
my
copy.
husband.
If you want to let your fans know, have them come over and comment on this video. I'm going to do a drawing next week for a copy of this book, because I want to give it away to somebody.
I can't believe he's here. This is so cool.
I know, right?
I feel so special.
It's because of you, Stephanie, because it certainly has nothing to do with me. I'm a nobody.
It's about me. Yeah.
I'm a nobody. Okay. I'm kind of geeking out here because I'm a huge Drunk 3PO fan. I mean, I'm just, man.
No, I'm not. I've been there when he was first starting, and I've been on live streams with him, so I'm not geeking out. I'm like, what took you so long?
I'm one of the goofballs that's like totally shipping him and Gina. I mean, in a cute way.
I am too, in a cute way, but I'm like, oh, come on. Really?
He says he's no one special, but dude, I don't think you realize, your fans really enjoy what you do, and you're special to them. You're special to me, and by extension, my wife, because I force her to listen to your videos, but she's over here laughing. But I made this one comment. I said, Drunk 3PO is having dinner with Gina Carano, and he's doing the videos of them together. I said, I feel like her having dinner with him, it's like she's on a date with all of fandom, with all of us. That's kind of how I felt. And that's what you represent to a lot of fans.
I guess.
Dude.
I guess. Yeah, I could see that. I mean,
I don't mean to make it weird, Stephanie, like you were on a date with Gina Carano. Yeah. I know, right?
No, Harrison Ford, but at the time,
but you know what I'm saying.
Right.
You know what I'm saying.
I was 9 years old.
Keep in mind, I've had a lot to drink tonight, so I may not be making the best of sense.
In 1989, fair game. I don't give a shit. I was 21. That's. I'm
Right?
gonna tell you something.
Being able to say I was 21 the first time I got drunk.
No,
And that woman sitting right across from me, she's the one that got me drunk when I turned 21.
I was 14. It's a long story. My best friend is like, never say this. Never tell the whole story.
Well, we'll change
We
the
were
names
watching-
to protect the innocent,
We
right?
were watching Friday the 13th, part 2. And at the really bad parts, we were so trash, we were laughing. And her mom came in going, what are you guys doing? We're like, hi. She's like, you go to bed right now.
Oh,
And
okay. Do I have to tell my drunk story, my first drunk story? I don't think I've done this online before, or,
sure.
on YouTube.
I just did mine, so you have to do yours.
Okay. So it was my 21st. I don't remember if it was actually my 21st birthday or the week of my 21st birthday, but Nanette and I were dating, and she took me out for my birthday. We went to Benihana.
Okay, cool.
And this was the first time I could legally order alcohol. Drunk Review says, tell it. I absolutely have to now. Right? So it was my 21st birthday. We went to Benihana. Never been before. They got great food, let me tell you. They put on a great show right at your table there. Well, she ordered me what she calls a Japanese Boilermaker. It was sake and Sapporo beer. And I drank the whole carafe of sake and I think half the beer. And I was blitzed. I had never had more than a few sips of wine at dinner my whole life before that. And I had to go to the bathroom, and I was totally slurring my words. So I'm like, excuse me, I gotta go to the bathroom. And I was doing the heel toe thing, trying to get to the bathroom. Came back. Everyone thought it was so hysterical. They're laughing. Happy birthday, right? So we go back to her apartment, and I'm like, there is no way I can get home tonight. I said, I can't leave my car here. I can't afford to, because we're downtown Chicago. I said, I said, if I were to get on a bus or whatever, I don't think I could even get to a bus or a train. She's like, you're going to have to stay here tonight. So I had to call my mom and say, Mom, I'm too drunk to come home. Promised you all these years, if I ever got too drunk to drive, I would, and we'll talk about it tomorrow. Okay, fine. She pours me a glass of wine to toast my birthday.
All right, Nanette.
Chug down. Yeah. All right, Nanette, she says. I chug down my drink. She takes a sip of hers. I take hers and I drink that one. And the whole room is spinning. And I'm like,
yes,
I need to go to the bathroom. And I literally crawled to the bathroom. I didn't get sick, but I did have to go potty. Got into bed. I rolled over to kiss her goodnight. Nope, that's not going to happen. Sat back up again. She's like, okay. And I got to be honest, I don't really remember anything after that until the morning.
She fell asleep.
She says I fell asleep. I don't know how I fell asleep, in what position, none of that kind of stuff, but
Curled up with my pillow.
curled up with her pillow. I think she actually has a picture of it too. So that was my 21st birthday.
my 21st birthday. This is
Drunk Review. Okay, this is the highlight of my year, I think. Drunk 3PO saying, I respect the man who says potty. Dude, it's because I've already had a lot to drink tonight.
Oh my God, dude.
For those of you just joining who weren't here at the beginning, I'm having a drink called Death Star. Google it up. The recipe is online. I'm calling it the Death Star 2 because it's a double. And I'm doing the best I can to be professional on the stream and not slur my words. I'm cracking up, Stephanie.
That's why I'm not drinking anymore. Hubby and I, it's called 1881 Napa. We got this for like $20. He had half. I had half. Um, it's a good Cabernet. It was really good. He was like, I guess it's all right. I mean, it could be ambrosia, and he'd say, I guess it's all right. So, no,
He's
it's
one of
good.
those kind of guys. I dig
Yeah,
it.
well, he's a Marine, so it's like,
Oh, hoorah.
yeah, hoorah, baby. It's good. And here it is again. If you see it drunk, Gina would like this because I liked it. No, it was the first when I turned 21.
Wait a
we
minute,
went out,
Stephanie.
a bunch of us.
I do this all night. I've been interrupting you. I'm sorry, but while Drunk 3PO is here, one quick thing I want to say to you, buddy, is I super appreciate the way you've been handling all the Gina news. I love the fact that you are totally cool and I don't know what, not taking advantage of the situation. Good.
Yeah.
Good on you, man. You are
He's a good man. He's a good man.
You are totally the fan insert. You're our avatar to Gina, and we super appreciate it. Make sure she knows how much we support her and whatever she does from here on out. I know you do, but
he's a good man. He really is, and he's always been. It's very rare you find somebody who's reasonable and normal.
Yeah.
What we're doing, and he's both of those things. So, it's great. I
guess I kind of relate to him and so many other YouTubers that I follow. It's like, I see myself in them, but for different algorithms and luck and whatnot,
I had somebody in one of the chats the other day saying, you should interview Harrison Ford. And I'm thinking the last 4 years of my YouTube channel, first off, that would never happen after all the things I've said.
Yeah.
Second of all, I'd be on puddle on the floor. I'd be like, I'd pass out. Yeah. I mean, I was faced with another actor.
You know what? I don't know why I haven't just done this. I mean, and this is something I've said from I know, I'm sorry, Stephanie. I'm just still geeking out over Drunk 3PO. And I will always use your YouTube name because I don't ever like to use people's alias. I don't want to give away your secret identity. I say that to my co-host on Sunday, Aged Boomer, all the time. But, this is something I've said. I've met a lot of celebrities, and, I think we get this idea about celebrities like they're on some completely different plane. Yeah. And the reality is they're just other human beings.
Yeah, they are. And
and they deserve, not only do they deserve the respect of being another human being, treat them the way you would have people treat you.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes we have a higher idea of who they are than they do themselves.
Yeah, we do. And I a long time ago, I was part of a fan group for an actor, and I, out of the goodness of my heart, put together a couple of get-togethers for him.
You have my permission to call me Jay. Bye, Jay. Thank you so much for blessing my stream.
I will never say anything but Jay, so there you go.
Amen. Well, you know him, I don't,
Yeah.
Well, I guess I do now.
I don't know him, but I do. I've done live streams,
I know what you mean.
I'm not, but I put all these things together, and it's a very long story. It ended up very disappointing because the girls that were part of this could not have done what I did because I knew how to do it. Mm-hmm. If God showed them how. I mean, they'd have been like,
yeah, I dig it.
And I was also in incredibly good shape. So imagine a 5'7" blonde showing up into a bunch of
I'm better off
200
not
pound-
imagining that, but okay.
200 pound tanks. Okay. And this is me going, oh, fuck, what did I get myself into?
Yep.
You know, and I was all excited, blah, 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 blah. And the guy was decent. He's an idiot. He's a moron.
Guys usually.
And after talking to people who actually know him, like friends of mine, really good friends of mine, they're like, yeah, he's a moron.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And then going, what the fuck were you doing? Shut up. You know, I'm like, shut up. Don't you, you know, fuck you. Go over there and sit in the corner. You know, and you suddenly realize that they're just like everybody else. But I gotta tell you, man, when it's somebody like Harrison Ford, I would be like, because I gotta tell you something. When I was working in DC and I had to give a prayer to a thing, an invocation to a thing we were having, and the House Majority Leader, who ended up being my boss and a good friend of mine, and like my father from another mother now, was sitting next to me, and I had never met him before. This is the House Majority Leader, and if you're a political geek like I was, it'd be like, I could barely talk. I couldn't even eat. And that's the thing, is I get like that. And if it's, I mean, I'd be like that. I totally, I mean, if I met him, Harrison Ford, I wouldn't be able to talk. I'd be like, you know, I couldn't talk. And the reason why is because I was 9 years old. It was in 1977.
Yeah.
The little girl who's like, okay, this is okay movie, and then going, oh my God. Now I understand it, because Star Wars is ultimately kind of a Western. And then suddenly Wyatt Earp walked in, and I knew who that was, you know, and I was like, okay, now I'm there, and he's hot.
Yep.
You know, and that was it. I mean, that was, you know,
and that's sometimes the hard part, right? Is separating the actor from the character.
Yeah.
I know Nanette kind of has a problem with that, right? Because she cannot stand Samuel L. Jackson, and the only reason is because of that one scene in the Avengers where
the cat scratched him.
She ruins Colton's cards. You don't do that. You don't destroy somebody's collectibles, and it's so funny that she does that. On the one hand, I love her because she totally understands the fanboy collectible concept, but at the same time, it's like, he's just an actor playing a role. Give him a break, man.
You know that, and that's, I've never had that problem with Ford. It's like he's, and the thing about it is, there's enough about him, like out there, like he's a cool guy. I mean, he's, you know, he's in the historical aircraft, fixing them up and being able to fly them. In fact, the one that that went down in that golf course, that was a T6 Texan. That
I don't know anything about
that plane. Was about 70, 80 years old.
Oh,
so that, you know, that's what he does. And I wrote papers on the 8th Air Force and the history of strategic bombing during World War II, because my father was a radio operator in B-24 Liberators. So it's like, these are the things that make him really, really cool to me.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, so
I do have to say that when I heard about that, I was like, oh, so he really is a pilot.
Yeah.
You know,
well, I knew it for a long time.
Just like Han Solo, you know, right?
He flies jets, planes, and helicopters. In fact, this is a funny story about him. How did we get here to this, by the way? Anyway,
who cares? This is good stuff.
Anyway, there were two girls hiking around in a place in Wyoming, and I can't think of the name of it, but it's pretty dry. It's not in the Red Desert. It's somewhere north of that. And they put out the emergency that one of them was really, really sick, and this chopper showed up. So it shows up and picks them up. One of the girls, they're dehydrated, and one of the girls throws up all over the floor. And when they get back to Jackson, which is where they landed, which is where the only hospital, which whatever, they suddenly realize that the pilot was Han Solo. And the girls were like, shit. I mean, the sick girl is like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Oh my God. You know, what would you do? But he was like, yeah, I'll pick him up. So he just landed, got him on there, you know, because he's an Eagle Scout.
Yeah.
He was literally an Eagle Scout.
Samuel
So he's out
Proctor
there-
points out that he was a carpenter before Stars. Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
he
I know
was.
that. In
He was.
fact, if you see the movie, what was that movie he was in where he
Witness.
Witness? Thank you. See, Nanette knows exactly
live-
what I'm talking about.
I live literally like, I mean, 50 miles from where they filmed it.
Yeah, so all of the woodworking they did, the barn raising, the bird feeder that he was making and everything,
Yeah.
he did all that himself.
Yeah. The barn
And
raising.
he instructed them on what they needed to do and so forth.
Yeah, he's just, you know, and one of the things that I think actors are missing now, even Matt McConaughey, trust me, oh God, who's the latest Captain Kirk? What was his name? Fuck it.
Pine. Chris
Pine.
Chris Pine.
You know,
I don't have anything
There's-
against that casting, but whatever.
there's an authentic masculinity lacking.
Yeah.
Even with Matt McConaughey. And I know he tries.
I don't think that's just in Hollywood though, Stephanie. I think that's just frickin' in this generation, in this country.
Yeah, and but it's there. And
Yeah.
people wonder, well, why do they always have to, you know, hire Australian and British actors to play American? It's because we can't find anything that'll do it.
It's funny because I don't remember if it was Midnight's Edge or another YouTube channel that was talking about China and how they have a huge push for no, I'm pretty sure it was with Midnight's Edge. China has this big push for men need to be masculine, and any film from Hollywood that doesn't highlight that, they don't want shown.
Yeah, well, guess what? Hollywood's screwed then because
Well, I've said for the longest time on this channel, Stephanie, that, you know, there is the danger of trying to serve two masters.
yeah, well,
And if you're going to choose one, I mean, go back to the 50s and 60s, okay? Imagine if Hollywood tried to make movies for both the United States and Russia, the
see,
USSR,
that's
okay?
the problem.
Because USSR fell, went bankrupt, and was gone.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
You pick who you want to back, what horse you want to back. You can't do both.
But see, here's the deal: globalism wasn't a thing back then, so that
Yeah,
wasn't
you're right.
something.
No, you're
and-
right.
And now it is. In the moment that Tricky Dick, and this might be something that George Lucas is suddenly finally realizing that maybe there was a problem with Nixon, opened up China.
But China never cared for Star Wars,
No, it
even
didn't,
under
but
Lucas.
Yeah, but you don't want to know what? It doesn't care for anything American.
Right.
It doesn't care because if you go back and look in Chinese history, literally, I've taken Chinese history.
Yeah.
There's nothing about the individual that makes that is there. They don't understand what celebrating the individual is.
Yeah.
Okay. And the thing about Western culture, all the way back to Greek, classical Greece, is the individual can excel. And to borrow Benedict XVI, you were born to be great. You were born to be great.
Yeah.
Okay. They don't understand that. They don't get
This
that.
whole
They never
idea
have.
of
Asians
you
don't
are,
understand it.
because of how you were born, what color you were born, what gender you were born, you have to apologize for it and the sins of your fathers. And it's absolutely ridiculous. I gotta thank Leia Plus Size for this comment. there's an attack on manhood in this culture, and I don't like it.
I hate
Leia,
it. I hate it. I hate it.
people like you, Leia plus size, and Stephanie Janiczek. Excuse me, I'm slurring my words.
It's all right.
I mispronounced your name.
It's all right.
And Nanette and you know, even some of the YouTubers that I follow in the political sphere, women want their men to be masculine, and
We were talking about that.
and they don't like their men to be emasculated.
We were talking about that on Midnight's Edge.
How can you love men and not stand up for them? You know?
There's all right. I'm gonna have to go to bed pretty soon because it's almost midnight here. There is a small group of women that have a loud voice.
Yeah.
That are trying to do something to women that, I mean, now you've got facial hair on women being a thing. I just saw that. And a friend of mine who's a filmmaker who's now expanding his reach, I guess. I'm like, okay, Lee, whatever. He posted this thing with what you see this, they're obviously female lips. And you see these wiry black hairs. And it's like,
yeah,
I know. That is, you know, I mean, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Why? This is the thing that pisses me off. You know, all right, Carrie Fisher was a very feminine woman.
Yep.
Okay, she was beautiful. But when you put her in that uniform, you gave her a blaster, she was as big a badass as Han and Luke. In fact, she had a bigger kill.
Look, history bears this out. Women are tough. Okay.
Yeah,
that whole concept of the fact that, you know, they can bear children and take all the pain and stuff. Absolutely true. The whole mama bear concept.
Yeah.
Do not underestimate women, but at the same time,
do not fuck men over because you know, I'll tell you, the movie 300.
Yep.
The Spartan 300 go out. Gorgo and the women are there. What does Gorgo do? She does whatever she has to protect her husband, and then she kills the bad guy.
Yep.
That's what we do. You know,
this is something that I have a friend who I gotta say I feel for him because his wife is one of these, you know, fourth wave feminists, and you know, one of the things that I've pointed out there is, look, you talk a big game, but what do you really want in your man? You know, I mean, do you not love your husband? Do you not love your brother and your father?
Yeah.
I mean, do you not care about these people? Okay. Do you not want them to be treated as well as you want to be treated? Okay. If you can't be intellectually honest about that, then you need to back off of what you're even saying.
Well, they were fed a ball of shit and they ate it. Now they're happy with it. And I'm like, okay, fine. I mean, I you know, my older sisters, you know, my sister Rose, and I love her to death. I mean, she's a great person. She gave me our bodies, our cells, when I was 14. I was 14 years old. I already knew that shit, and I didn't need to see it. I didn't like it. I put it in the trash. She didn't know it. I did it. I told her that I didn't want it. I know the stuff. I didn't like it. I don't need to hear that. When your father, at the age of 12, gives you a shotgun, and you're a girl.
Yep.
That says you are my equal. I'm going to teach you how to shoot this.
Yep.
I'm going to teach you how to track deer, how to shoot ducks, how to put decoys out, how to train a dog.
Because I want to make sure you're taken care of even when I'm not around. I want you to take care of yourself.
You know, and I've never felt, and what's really weird is I go, you know, when I'm talking about Star Wars, male Star Wars fans, they're like, hey, Steph, how you doing? You know, no, oh my God, she's a girl. What's she doing here? You know, that's a lie.
Right.
Gun clubs. Well, here comes Sure Shot. You want to know why? You give me my BT-99 at the 20-yard line in the trap range. When I was at the top of my game, I'd probably shoot. out of 100 shots, I'd hit 99.
Yep.
I was the best shot. And the reason why is my dad said, the thing about you is that you're not as strong as the rest of us, but you finesse that shotgun when you get tired. And you know where it's always going to be. That's why you're as good as you are.
Yep.
And, that is the thing, is they all respected me. I was part of that group. I was the girl. In fact, they put me on a pedestal. Okay. I was fine with that. I was a princess. I was like, cool. And, you ride horses and they teach you stuff, big stuff like dislocating elbows, getting kicked in the side,
Yep.
being bitten, and others that, the shitty things that a horse will do because they're big. And they can be assholes. But women aren't fragile,
Nope.
but we also, I remember talking to a guy who taught hand-to-hand combat. He said, the thing about you girls is that if a guy gets his hands on you, you're gone. It doesn't matter how tough you are. It doesn't matter how big and strong. You're done, because we're always going to be stronger than you are, because it's muscle density, and it's just it's biology.
Yeah.
And that's why I carry.
Yep.
That's why I
It's a
carry.
great equalizer.
And I carry. I've got non-lethal, but if the shit hits the fan, and you never know what's going to do it in these days.
I'll tell you what, I mean, that's the biggest point is women, intelligent thinking women point out why carrying, whether it's concealed or open carry, is important to them, because it is a great equalizer. But I've been watching a lot of YouTubers, 2A, channels talking about the history of gun suppression and, gun control, and the racial component to that.
Yeah,
and I was like, I had no idea until I started looking at the history of it. And I'm like, I am so glad that so many women, minorities, and I got to say it, Democrats are buying guns this past year and a half.
Well, when you look at the NRA, and the NRA, it was actually started for black slaves, so they would have protection, because just because you're free doesn't mean you're free.
I don't care what race, creed, color, or gender you are. You have the same rights under the law.
Yeah.
And anytime somebody tries to limit that, they are being sexist, racist, or whateverist.
They're being fascist is what they're doing.
You're right. They're being fascist. Exactly.
And, when I go back to Star Wars, Leia look at Carrie. She was 5'2"?
Yeah.
A little tiny person. What else was she going to do?
Right.
She had to be able to do that. And, she took care of herself.
For crying out loud, she did the whole senator role, right?
Yeah.
But she had no problem picking up a blaster and dropping a stormtrooper.
Yeah, or dropping whatever. I mean,
I'll tell you what, in the toy community, that's the biggest problem that most people have with the vintage Leia figure, is that she comes with that little bitty holdout blaster from that first scene that she's in Star Wars. And it's like, she can't hold the stormtrooper blaster that she uses through almost the whole rest of the movie.
Yeah. And it's like, well, she grabbed that rifle from Luke and just went, and I mean, it was really funny. I remember bringing that VHS home and watching it, and my dad coming in and watching it, and he watched the whole thing with me. And he was like, this is weird. He was a Star Trek fan. He loved Captain Kirk.
Sure.
And so he's watching it, and then we get to the canteen, and he sees Solo, and he's like, okay, now I get it. Because he's like, now I know why you like it. I was like, yeah, of course.
No, I dig it.
And So I watched the whole thing, and he was like, you know, the only thing that little girl, okay, my dad was 6'3",
Yeah.
okay, could do was what she did. I mean,
Yep.
she had that, that's all she could do. She couldn't fight back physically. She could not. And that's all she had. And, you know, when I see people like, well, she could do this, it's like, no. If you're, I'm 5'7" and I weigh 135.
Yeah.
Okay. I know I couldn't get, I know it. I'm not in the shape I used to be, but even when I was,
Uh-huh.
all right, there's no way, because I'm a girl, you know, there's just no way. But if I see you coming at me and you get, you know, what was the law? If I feel like there's a reasonable assumption that I'm going to be killed
Uh-huh.
or hurt in my house, or, you know, you've got stand your ground stuff.
Yep.
I know those laws. It's like, look, I'm drawn.
Look, it's even easier than that. I would rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And you need a really good lawyer. And
Yeah.
girls, go to U.S. Law Shield. It's cheap. Join. There are really great lawyers. Go to the seminars they have, because you may need them. And the first person you talk to after you call 911 is that person, is that lawyer. And he will be there before the cops get there.
So I know that you got to get to bed pretty soon.
Yeah.
And
I'm sorry, we're talking about stuff we
no,
watched.
that's okay. And I'm hitting the bladder limitation. So
Okay.
so what I want to do to wrap this up is just say, look, I really am. I want to be a little bit more positive. I feel like Boomer and I have gone out of our way to try to find at least one positive thing every week to talk about.
Yeah.
There's a lot of negative going on out there, but don't give up hope. Don't suck on the black pill. Okay.
Yeah.
Be a realist. Okay.
Yeah.
Really look at what's going on. Listen, pay attention, and engage the brain. Okay.
Yeah.
And if there's a YouTuber out there, as I know there are in even our own community, that are blackpilling you and telling you everything is terrible and Dave Filoni is the Antichrist because he said some things that hurt his fifis and whatnot, pay attention to the context. What did I say years ago when this came out about David Filoni saying, you know, some very SJW thing? I don't care what his political opinions are. I don't care about any of that. I care what he can contribute to Star Wars. Okay. I can be friends with people I don't agree with politically. My problem is people that don't understand that sometimes you got to keep your job in order to keep the faith alive. And I said this at the time. I said he wants to keep his job so that when things turn on Kathleen Kennedy and she's out the door because the money's not coming in, he is still there to institute the EU. And what is happening? Look around you, everybody. It is coming true and you can see it.
Yeah,
I was right.
Yeah, you're right. And they don't want to see it. And they want to be upset. I mean, you and I have a private conversation about a couple of people, maybe others, that are just there to instigate problems and be pissed off because, you know, and then I'll get off.
Yeah.
You could look at a novel like whatever and adapt it to a movie. It'll never be like the novel.
Right.
All right. There are things they're doing now to fix what's wrong.
Yep.
And, you know, I really honestly think that, I mean, I don't know what Doomcock knows, and he's going to come out with a video in 48 hours because he was like, I'm really out and up and down, blah, blah, blah. And I think he's pulling.
I'll
think
be
he's full of
honest.
shit.
Maybe, but he does have to protect his sources. He doesn't
Yeah,
want to
which is
screw
why-
somebody over.
Which is why he's saying, I don't know what to say, and I'm really upset. And I was on
Yeah.
a roller coaster, and I'm like, give me a break. I'm looking at, I'm a trained political person.
Yeah.
I can read the tea leaves. It's like, yeah, okay, go on that roller coaster and then come back and tell us what's really going on.
I know.
I think I already know.
You're right.
All right. There's stuff going on they're never going to tell you unless it comes out in a book. And it might. This might.
I would love it if it did.
Oh, God. Could you imagine?
Yep.
I would be sitting there like this. Leave me alone. I'm reading. Leave me alone. Fuck you. I'm reading. This stuff, first off, it takes time. Second of all, it's already done. Like Cameron said, this is already done.
Yep. And we're just finding out about it, a year after the fact? Okay, fine. We're finding out about it a year after the fact. These are things that I said were going to happen.
Yeah.
And I didn't even realize they had already happened. I was already right.
I mean, we've been begging for Filoni to have a bigger message.
Yep.
I don't really know, except for what he said, why people are upset, or maybe they just don't like Ahsoka being.
There was. I think you know about this. A couple of years back, he had spoken at some women's conference.
Yeah, I saw that. In fact,
it's like, you know what? Again, this is a guy trying to keep his job under Kathleen Kennedy, so that when she's out the door, he could be exactly where he frickin' is today.
Yeah. Well, and now they're saying, well, she put him there. No, she didn't put him there. Yeah. In fact, I'm going to say
she didn't know who he was from Adam.
I'm going to say this. This is my speculation, that they're saying he was named a year ago. Mm-hmm. I'm saying he was just promoted. I'm saying that right now. There's a reason why. That shows up now. That article came out 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
And now this. Bullshit.
Yep.
They're saying it happened a year ago because they're trying to cover up shit. Bullshit.
Look,
Bullshit.
I'm saying it doesn't even matter if it happened a year ago. The fact is, it's coming
right.
out now. Yeah. Why is it coming out now? It's coming out now because they want to. They're doing the Mark Twain. They're gauging the depths, and they're going, oh, they don't like Kathleen Kennedy, but they do like these people. Okay, this is what we have. The bean counters are taking over, like I said they would, like I've been saying for years.
Because they have to.
Yep. Otherwise, the whole company goes in the tubes, and nobody gets their say about anything. Nobody gives a crap about what their political commentary is unless it makes them money.
And Pablo's finding that out now.
Yep.
I personally, I need to hear that he's gone. I need to see Variety saying Pablo Hidalgo and blah, blah, blah are leaving Lucasfilm. I need to see that. I mean, we didn't get to hear about Carrie Hart, but I need to see official word that fucker's gone after all the shit he pulled.
Yep.
Nope. And the reason why is it is justice. And sometimes you get justice in this world. And Kathy might get a float in a parade down Main Street, USA. But I want that fucker, Pablo, who caused all this, who lied to her because she's so stupid, and who attacked the fans, did an inordinate amount of damage to the franchise, to walk out with his head in shame with a box and 2 security guards with him.
I think you're right. I feel like he's more responsible than she is. She has been an absentee captain. She hasn't been touching the wheel, and he's been the one telling her things, and she's been buying it because she doesn't know any better.
And Filoni was like, I'm never going near that because that is going to end up
I'm
bad.
just going to keep writing my cartoon stories and just whatever, and keep myself alive.
Yeah, and that's what he did. He was smart. And the moment Favreau showed up, he was like, John, save me.
Yep.
And that's, John Favreau, I mean, I'm going to say this right now. Cameron said he's in charge right now.
Yep.
And, he might not take a title, but he is the one calling the shots.
Yes, he is.
I need to see that though.
Look,
I need to, well, wait a
everybody
minute.
is saying that Filoni got this promotion a year ago.
Yeah.
So a year from now, if we find out, or 6 months from now, we find out Filoni's in charge, and he's been in charge all this time, I won't be very shocked.
I wouldn't either, but it literally, I'd be like going, he's not really the guy I would, he's not leadership material. It's, you know what I'm saying?
I'm sorry. Did I say Filoni? I meant Favreau.
Favreau.
I meant Favreau.
No, if it was Favreau, I'd be like,
Yeah.
because then Gina would be going, see him back.
And the rumors I've heard about her, being seen on set, I can't give it any credence, but boy, I would love to believe it.
I don't either, but then I think it doesn't surprise me.
There is a logic to it. She would do it for Favreau.
Yeah, she would. She would.
And let's face it, this news that came out about the Rangers.
Yeah.
Obviously, they can't do it without her. If it's going to happen, it's going to be on hiatus until she says, "Okay, fine, I'll do it."
Yeah. Or it's on hiatus until
Kathleen's out
gone.
the door. Yeah.
Anyway,
I think
I
you're
gotta
right
go.
about that.
I gotta go.
Okay, that's fine. You know what? Let me just wrap up the show because I'm pretty much at my limit too. Everybody, thank you so much for being here. Wow. Not only did I have the person who broke the whole scoop on Dave Filoni, Stephanie Janiczek here, to talk about it, but then she brings in Drunk 3PO into our stream.
Nothing to do with Jay Show.
Yeah. He came because of you. But let me tell you something. This was an incredible stream. But you know what really makes my streams? I Stephanie, you're great. I love having you. But it's these guys that come here every week. Leia plus size and Samuel Proctor and Melissa Harris, and of course my enabler and support, Nanette of Netters Network. I'll tell you, without you guys, I wouldn't have a show. And honestly, it's not about doing a show. It's about this socializing and just feeling connected with friends. I super appreciate all of you for that. Guys, be positive. Don't sweat the YouTubers that are constantly bitching and moaning and complaining and saying negative things about every freaking thing. Ultimately, we will win because they want our money. And they won't get it until they start giving us what we asked for. Agent Boomer, happy birthday. That's really what's important tonight. Thank you so much for stopping in and hanging out with us. Guys, you all take care. Next week, I will be doing the drawing for that book. So if you didn't say something in the stream saying you were interested in the book, drop a comment when this stream is up tomorrow. Okay? Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Good night.